Hello everyone, I'm Broughy1322 and in this video I'm going to be showcasing the best vehicle for every single class in the game in a racing situation. So as I've mentioned in previous videos recently, I am going to be creating brand new videos for every single class showcasing every single vehicle in the entire game in a racing situation and giving lap times for everything, so feel free to subscribe for that. But for now we're just going to go through every single class in the game and I'll showcase the very best vehicle from that class in terms of lap time. So in 21st place we do have 21 separate vehicle classes in the game. We've got the race bike. This is obviously the best cycle, but this is technically the slowest class, so you could see this as a video ranking the classes as well. We're not only seeing the best vehicle in each class, but I'm going to be doing it in terms of the lap time that the best vehicle in each class gets as well. So we're basically ranking the classes, and the slowest class in the game in terms of the quickest vehicle in that class is the Cycles class. So in 20th place, just ahead of it, we've got the Commercials class with the Benson. That's a huge chunk of lap time, a lot quicker there with a 1:35.1. So obviously we had the race bike, which is the one to choose in cycle races. Obviously you can't do commercial races, and some of the classes, obviously I have tested every single vehicle in the entire game, but some of the classes that you'll see here can't actually be used in a racing situation. But this is just for sort of interesting entertainment purposes, if you like, to see what sort of lap time those classes would get. Now in 19th place we've got the Speeder for the boat class. This is the quickest boat in the game with a 1:32.7. To point out that the sea vehicles and air vehicles that are featured in this video do cover the exact same distance in terms of the track that they're on, and they're on a very similar circuit as well. So although they can't be directly compared, they can be compared to a certain extent because they are covering the same distance in approximately the same layout. Now in 18th place we've got the Crusader. This is the best military vehicle in the game. And there are only, I think, 4 military vehicles in the game. You've got the tank, the barracks, the semi-truck barracks, and the Crusader as well. The Crusader is the quickest of those. You can actually use it in a race in SUV races, but it's nowhere on the pace, and you can't upgrade it, for example. Obviously the same with the Benson in the Commercials class that we saw earlier. 1:26.7 though, not too bad of a lap time. In just ahead of that, in 17th place, we've got a vehicle that you can actually use in a race, which is the Saddler. This is the best utility vehicle in the game with a 1:20.3. This is the only vehicle in the utilities class that you can actually upgrade and use in a racing situation. So if you ever come across a utility vehicles race and customs are turned on, you want to have one of these, but they are quite rare, and generally utility races in general are quite rare. But just ahead of the Saddler, in 16th place, we've got the Industrials class with the Guardian. So the Guardian can be used in off-road races, but it wouldn't be anywhere near on the pace in terms of the off-road class. But it is technically in the Industrials class, and because it's the only vehicle in that Industrials class that can actually be upgraded and used as basically like a proper car, you've got things like the Dozer in the Industrials class, so this completely outshines all of those and is the quickest industrial vehicle in the game. Now in 15th place, just ahead of that, we've got the Gang Burrito with the Vans class. So top 15 now, the Vans class is one of the slowest classes in terms of what the quickest car is, and obviously the Vans you can actually use in a racing situation if you have the grid set to large in custom created races. The Gang Burrito is 1:18.2, so not too bad, but just behind it would be the Rumpo Custom with a 1:18.3. So that is something to keep in mind with this video. You're only seeing the best vehicles in each class, but there are quite a few vehicles that could be sort of very, very close, and it's not necessarily going to be that every vehicle in this video is going to be the best for you. Just because they are the quickest around this track in sort of when they're pushed to the limits doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to drive these vehicles as well as other vehicles in certain classes, and certain tracks do have different positives and negatives for different vehicles, and I do try to explain that, and I will explain that when we come to do the regular class specific videos where I'll be showcasing every single vehicle in the game. But for now, we are just seeing the top ones, but keep in mind that you don't necessarily need to have the best vehicle in the class. There are other alternatives that may be better for you. These are just the quickest around this track, and my testing is more of a general guideline for that. But I will explain all of that in the class specific videos that will be coming out soon. So obviously, like I say, feel free to subscribe for those. So obviously we saw the Dune there, which was the new best in the services class, taking up the title away from the taxi, which used to be the previous best. And then we had the police bike, which is the only bike in the game that isn't in the motorcycles class, which is the best vehicle in the emergency vehicles class. Now in 12th place here we have the compact class with the Brioso RA with a 111.2, obviously completely demolishes the compact class at this point, you got to have one of those. And then just ahead of that we've got the SUVs class with the Contender. So the Contender is pretty dominant in the SUVs class, just like the previous SUVs before it, with a 109.5, that's a reasonably decent gap ahead of the Brioso RA. And yeah, the SUVs class has gotten quicker over time, and now it's basically the 11th quickest class in the entire game overall. So now we're moving into the top 10, and this is where we get to some reasonably quick lap times overall. And in 10th place we've got the Zion, still the best coupe in the game in terms of regular racing. Obviously these are all in terms of actual racing around a circuit. This is not in terms of top speed. That video will be coming later on this week, so again feel free to subscribe for that if you haven't already. But the Zion, with its incredible traction, 107.9, obviously that's a big difference from what we've just seen from the Contender. The Zion is easily the quickest as long as you can make the most out of it, because it does have much higher traction than anything else in the class, in the coupe's class. So 9th place now, we've got the Sabre Turbo Custom. This is the new best muscle car in the game. This has held this ever since it came out obviously, but the Pisswasser Dominator that was recently released is pretty close to it. But overall the Sabre Turbo Custom with that 107.8 is still about half a second quicker around a track like this. It doesn't have the highest top speed in the muscle cars class, but it's certainly very, very good, and it is a very, very good option if that's what you want. Now in 8th place we've got the Desert Raid. This is the best off-road vehicle in the game with a 107.2, quicker than the muscle cars class, the off-roads class now. But it must be remembered that the trophy truck is very, very close to this, pretty much identical. And you've got the BF400, which is in the motorcycles class but can be used in off-road races, which is a further 3 seconds per lap quicker than this. So although the Desert Raid is technically the quickest in the off-roads class, for off-road races you do want to have a BF400. So 7th place now, we've got the Sterling GT. This is the best sports classic vehicle in the game because pretty much of its immense traction with that spoiler on the back. Obviously the rear tyre on the Sterling GT does add traction just like a spoiler, so with a 106.8 it absolutely demolishes everything else in the sports classic class in every track other than one that is dominated by top speed. So if you are doing sports classic races, you pretty much have to have one of these, and you have to have that rear tyre on the back to give it that extra traction. Now in 6th place we've got the Schafter V12 Armoured. This is the quickest sedan in the game by a huge margin, pretty much exactly the same story as with the Sterling GT that we've just seen. The Schafter V12 Armoured with a 106.4 just demolishes everything else in the sedans class, and really, as we've always said, this car should have been put into the sports class with the regular Schafter V12, but as it stands right now you have to have one of these for sedan races to be anywhere near on the pace, because the regular Schafter, which would be in 2nd place, is about 4 seconds per lap slower. Now in 5th place, top 5 now, we've got the Annis Elegy RH8, which is still the king in the sport class because of its immense traction. It is very, very difficult to drive, and there are a lot of alternatives in the sports class that you can use. And it's very difficult to make the most out of the Elegy as well. With that lap time that it gets is absolutely crazy. A 103.5 is very, very dominant, and the Elegy has always been dominant in the sports class, but it's not necessarily going to be the best choice for everyone, and that's something that we'll go over more in the specific sports class video that's to come in the future. Now in 4th place, the first time that the motorbikes class isn't in the top 3, we've got the Bati 801. Again, alongside the Elegy, the Bati has been the king of the motorcycles class from the very start of the game, and with that lap time that it gets for 59.3, it's absolutely crazy that we see vehicles that get under 1 minute around this track, and it's only the Bati and the Akuma from the motorcycles class that have ever managed to do that, until we got the 3 new supercars, the quickest of which was the RE7B, which gets an incredible lap time of 57.7. Unbelievable performance there from the RE7B, which puts the supercars class into 3rd place overall. The supercars class, in terms of the quickest vehicle in that class, is now the 3rd quickest class in the entire game around a regular racing circuit in terms of lap time. Obviously, like I said, this doesn't include top speed. We will be doing top speed later on later on this week. So the 57.7 lap time that the RE7B gets is absolutely unbelievable, and it's amazing to think really that a car can actually, well, isn't really that far off from the lap time that a helicopter gets, which, as we'll see, in second place we've got the Swift Deluxe, which is the quickest helicopter in the game, and it only gets a 54-second lap time, 54.4. The regular Swift is only a couple of tenths of a second slower than that, but the two Swifts in general are very, very quick in terms of straight line performance and around the track, as you can see. And like I mentioned, the air vehicles and the sea vehicles in this video do have do cover the same amount of distance, so that the RE7B isn't all that slower now than a helicopter, which is absolutely crazy to imagine that would be the case. You know, we've always known that helicopters and planes in general are a lot quicker, but still there's no way that anything can hold a candle to the planes in terms of lap time around a circuit. Again, covering the same distance. In first place overall for this video, and the quickest class in the game is the planes class with the Hydra, with a 34.1 second lap time. Again, you know, absolutely crazy. Blink and you'll miss it. So much quicker than everything else. You know, full 20 seconds quicker than the Swift Deluxe in second place. Again, like I say, covering the same amount of distance around the circuit. Just unbelievable that the Hydra is this quick. This is the quickest plane in the game. You know, as I mentioned before, I've tested every single vehicle in the game, and brand new class specific vehicles will come out, so you'll be able to see where every single vehicle in the game places in comparison to everything else. But these are the quickest around a circuit for every single class, and I hope that it's been helpful to you guys in terms of what to choose in racing situations. Obviously, just to point out that in regular races, planes and jets are changed in that respect, so you should choose the Hydra in jet races, but for regular plane races you should choose the Vestra. But the classes are all planes, so all planes are just in the planes class. It's only in races where that distinction is made. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's helped. Obviously, feel free to subscribe for the future videos that we're going to have soon. I will be doing the top speed version of this video later on this week as well. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. I hope this video has helped as an updated version of this the best cars in each class. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.